Why people with AuDHD can enjoy neurotypical media. People with AuDHD, which is autism and ADHD together, can absolutely understand and enjoy TV shows, movies, and music created by and featuring neurotypical people. And there are several interconnected reasons why this happens. Rather than being a mystery, it actually reveals some important truths about the human experience, neurodivergent strengths, and the nature of communication. Despite neurological differences, people with AuDHD experience the full range of human emotions joy, sadness, anger, love, fear, and everything in between. In fact, research shows that individuals with ADHD tend to have very high affective intensity, meaning they often feel emotions more intensely than neurotypical people. Similarly, autistic individuals can have empathetic attunement, described as a sixth sense, where they absorb other people's emotional states so deeply that can become overwhelmed by them. This emotional richness means that when a neurotypical character experiences heartbreak, triumph, or loss on screen, people with ADHD aren't observing something alien, they're witnessing universal human experiences they felt themselves, often with even greater intensity. Neurodivergent individuals, particularly those with autism and ADHD, often possess enhanced pattern recognition abilities. This cognitive strength allows them to identify narrative structures and storytelling tropes, predict plot developments by recognizing familiar patterns, connect thematic elements across different works, spot inconsistencies that others might miss, and this pattern recognition extends to understanding character motivations and story arcs. When you can see the underlying structure of a narrative, you can follow and appreciate it regardless of whether the creator shares your neurotype. And one particular important factor is that fictional characters are actually easier to understand than real people for many neurodivergent individuals. In books and scripts, characters' emotions are often explicitly described. If a character shouts angrily, the text tells you they're angry. You don't have to decode subtle facial expressions or tone. Visual media uses exaggerated facial expressions and body language that are more pronounced than natural human expressions. Additionally, viewers get access to characters' private thoughts and internal perspectives through narration, monologue, or visual storytelling. This explicitness compensates for challenges that neurodivergent people might face with theory of mind, which is the ability to infer what others are thinking or feeling. While autistic individuals may struggle with theory of mind in spontaneous real world interactions, the structured, explicit nature of storytelling provides the context they need to understand characters fully. And the double empathy problem is a crucial concept. It proposes that communication difficulties aren't one sided deficits in autistic people, but rather a mutual misunderstanding between people with different neurotypes. However, when it comes to media consumption, this problem is significantly reduced because the medium provides time to process information at your own pace, especially with pause and rewind features. Creators intentionally make motivations and emotions clear to the audience. The viewer isn't required to respond in real time or produce their own social performance, and there's no pressure to mask or perform neurotypical social behaviors while watching. In essence, media creates a very low pressure social learning environment where neurodivergent people can engage with human stories without the overwhelming sensory and social demands of actual social interaction. Interestingly, many beloved fictional characters are actually coded as neurodivergent as well, whether intentionally or not. Characters like Sherlock Holmes, various forensic scientists in crime shows, and many quirky protagonists display traits associated with autism or ADHD. Even when characters are meant to be neurotypical, their strengths, struggles, and emotional journeys can resonate with neurodivergent experiences. Young neurodivergent people specifically report that seeing characters succeed, regardless of whether those characters are explicitly neurodivergent, helps them feel less alone and provides model for navigating their own challenges. The key insight is that neurodivergent people don't lack empathy or emotional understanding. They process and express these things differently. And research shows that autistic people have intact emotional, affective empathy. alongside reduced cognitive empathy in some contexts. They may actually show more empathy for negative emotions like sadness and anxiety than neurotypical people. When watching media, the cognitive empathy challenges, inferring what someone is thinking, are minimized because the medium makes the information explicit. The emotional empathy, feeling what characters feel, remains fully intact and often heightened. For those with AuDHD specifically, the combination can actually enhance media engagement. And ADHD brings the ability to hyperfocus intensely on interesting content, quick thinking and creative interpretation, and strong emotional responsiveness. While autism contributes a deep analysis of patterns and themes, attention to detail others might miss, and an ability to deeply engage with specific interests. Together, these traits can create an incredibly rich relationship with stories and music. So, people with AuDHD enjoy neurotypical media for the same reason anyone enjoys stories, because storytelling speaks to shared human experiences that transcend any neurological differences. The emotions, the struggles, the relationships, the triumphs depicted in media, they resonate with their own lived experiences, often even more intensely than with neurotypical audiences. The structured, explicit nature of fiction actually makes it more accessible to neurodivergent minds than spontaneous real world social interactions. And the pattern recognition strengths common in AuDHD allow for deep appreciation of narrative structure and thematic content. So rather than asking why neurodivergent people can enjoy neurotypical media, perhaps the better question is why wouldn't they? Stories explore what it means to be human, and neurodivergent people are every bit as human. They just experience and process that humanity through a different lens.